What is up? Welcome back to Behind the Mask of Mr. Fuentes. I'm your host, the Solon Franco. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, the beard, Mr. Fuentes.
What's up, guys? Mr. Fuentes here. I want to point out before we get started that Franco says his name Franco, and it's very cool. And y'all should call him Franco too.
Franco. It's with the K, not a C, a K.
Oh, Franco.
Franco.
I think it's Russian.
Yeah, it's Russian.
You're gonna meet Franco.
We're back, season 2, episode 0. We are not going in order because Mr. Fuentes hates going in order and is also an old man and forgets stuff. So we're trying to get his bald head fresh. And we are talking today about Sneak Peek, which will be out soon, relatively. You want to get started? You want to say anything about it before we do?
No, just it's been a long time coming for a sneak peek, so I'm glad that it's all wrapped up, and I'm ready to release it. And that's why, like Franco was saying, I like to do things out of order. But honestly, this is one of my newer releases. It's been a while since I've released a whole new album itself, and I really want to talk about a lot of these songs while they're fresh on my mind and while they're fresh in y'all's ears, so y'all can get the background stories now instead of waiting until we get around to season 4 to learn about Sneak Peek. Plus, all the other tracks you can check out any other time, and these ones are newer, so might as well have this going on right now. So that's pretty much the reason why I want to start with Sneak Peek right now.
And y'all may be getting these songs earlier than they release, actually, because this one will be dropping episode 0 Wednesday, January 25th, as of today. And then we'll be doing them every Wednesday, probably 10 a.m., like all our videos. And the first 2 tracks will be February 1st and 8th. And then keep going from there every Wednesday.
Yep.
But you want to reveal the artwork and the track list?
Yes, the artwork's been revealed before, but the track list has not been revealed. So here we go. This is it. This is a sneak peek. Artwork done by one of my good friends, Kim Forgas, an amazing artist. She did this all by hand. With colored pencil, if you believe that. And yeah, it turned out really awesome. And then the right side of it, you see everything's opposite on the screen. Anyway, on the right side of it, you see the track listing. That's 15 tracks with 3 skits. And so total of, what's that, 12 tracks. And it has, hold on, let me count with y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 features on this album. And yeah, I mean, I like how everything turned out. What do you think, Franco? What do you think of the layout?
The layout looks good. All I've been thinking whenever I see you, since you posted the album cover, is that you need to make a mask like that that's half faced.
Yeah.
It's also funny because this album art, as you're looking at us right now, is outdated because Mr. Fuentes is indeed bald now.
Yes, I am. That's when I had my luscious hair from the front only. Yeah, this album was it's a little bit in the making, but I think we'll get into that a little bit later.
As y'all see in the bottom right corner, it says Emo Swap Productions logo. That is because I did help him produce most of this album as well.
Yes, he did.
No, we did not. It's just Nameless Soul production.
Um,
But I think all of it's good. I've listened to it. You gave me a sneak peek of it and everything before all everybody else.
a sneak peek,
And
a sneak peek.
y'all are in for a badass album. That's all I gotta say. But
Hell
we
yeah.
got some questions for the man himself. We can start off with does sneak peek have a theme to it?
Mm, I wouldn't say it has a theme. So on my last release that I did, that was I think at this point like 7 years ago, maybe it was 6 years ago. I did Smile and Wave. I remember whenever whenever people were listening to it, or people that were my friends that were musical, they went through the beginning to the end, and they were like, all your tracks are good, but it still sounds like you're finding your style. Like not all the tracks are really cohesive. The kind of the beats are all over the place. Um, which I agreed. I was still kind of experimenting a lot. So pretty much anything that I heard I liked, I just kind of went for it. Um, I would honestly say that this album really isn't that much different. I feel like it is kind of the beats aren't all really super cohesive. Um, I just kind of that's how I kind of do music. I feel like it's just so limited to I get if you have a concept album that you want to have a feel from beginning to end of the album, then you make sure you tailor your beats to that. Um, which I would say I would if I had a exclusive producer who I can be like, this is exactly what I want. But when it comes to rap, to me, if you feel a song and you feel something that needs to get written to it, then you just write to it. So pretty much all these songs that are on here, I just kind of felt like these were the ones I needed to put on here. Um, so the theme, again, I think would be it's kind of a sneak peek into a lot of different styles that I have, but a lot also more personal views that I have and personal um, things that I go through and think on my own. Um, it's kind of funny because most people don't really find me as a hostile person, but then I have a whole song on here that's been released as a single called Hostile. Um, and yeah, I get road rage, sometimes when I'm driving, and that's pretty much what inspired that song. Um, those are kind of like it's almost silly. I don't want to say play on words, but it's like I don't get that angry, obviously. Sometimes I get really pissed, but I took a very common thing like road rage, which is something I do get sometimes, and made it into a whole song. So it was kind of like almost a parody on myself. Um, Strange Voices. I grew up listening to like horrorcore um, music like ICP and things like that. So I got to do a cool track with my friend Rob Zilla and Michael White, and it kind of had a more horrorcore theme to it. So it was fun to do a track like that. Um, but yeah, sneak peek is just that. It's a sneak peek into me. It's a sneak peek into my style, and I even have a song called "Lost Moments of the Past," which is a sneak peek into a group that I want to do called Absolute Lunatics. Hopefully,
Have you? This is a complete track list, right?
yes.
Have you sent it off?
No.
Okay, because 11 and 12 are switched.
What?
The
Oh
skit
shit.
and hostel, you need to switch those two.
Oh shit. You're right.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what happened there?
So yes, I am in the process of sending this off as we speak. So by the time we release it, it'll be sent off. But thank you for letting me know that. I'll write that down to go switch them. Um, I was gonna have you proofread this too, but I guess this is a good a time as any for you to proofread it.
That's because
Um,
I'm blind right now as well.
dang. So yeah, just a sneak peek into kind of all the things that I have coming, and kind of what's next. I feel like most artists do with every album, I feel like I got more cemented in the type of artists that I want to be and the type of style that I want to do. And I think that I experimented with a few kind of things here and there, and I think everything kind of came out great. I'm just really excited for people to hear it finally.
So Franco, does sneak peek have a theme? I don't think it has a. It does have a theme. As Mr. Fuentes, we interviewed you back in 2018 in November. If y'all remember that interview, I would plug in and say go back and listen to the interview, but don't go back and listen to the interview. We were young, dumb, and didn't know how to talk. So, uh, but in
We
that
learned how to
interview,
talk better in the past 5 years.
you made me lose my train of thought. Fuck. Sneak peek. You mentioned you brought it up that this was basically what the title was, a sneak peek into your life, into the
Hmm.
mind of what Mr. Fuentes is, or not even Mr. Fuentes, of what Saul Fuentes Jr. is. And that's pretty much the theme of it. But when I was listening to it the other day, because I've been listening to it on repeat since you sent it to me, honestly, just like, listen to it because it's really good. And I'm gonna do all these episodes. I'm like, I need questions. I need answers. I need answers. The first half. Let's put this back up to the screen. So the first, I guess, three tracks, those go like are a theme of its own. It goes together. The first three, and then the 14 over here. I think that one should have probably been up here with between three and four, honestly.
Which
But
one?
I think Lost,
Oh, okay.
because I think all of them had a theme together,
Hmm.
and then you get to 4, 5, and 6 and 7. They don't have a theme, but I think it's more um, you're just having fun with it. I
Hmm.
think that's what those four together were, or not together, but those four separately were like, I'm just having fun with this rap shit. And then, I'm sorry, I'm blind. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all kind of not coincide, but are relatively similar and whatnot. Once y'all listen to me, I'll understand what I'm talking about. But they're relatively similar in everything, and like I think it's three different type of themes going on throughout this album. And then you have track 13, which is a sneak peek of future stuff coming on. I guess 13 and 15 together are sneak peeks of future projects and everything. So I think this
Yeah,
album basically is like four separate type things, but they all really go well together and everything because it's obviously a sneak peek into who you are and sneak peek into what you're about to do in the future, sneak peek and all that stuff.
yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head. I kind of treated. I've been watching a lot of not watching a lot of things, but I've read a couple of books here and there throughout my life. More recently,
My life.
trying to well throughout my life, in the last actually like 5 or 6 years. I've read a few books that are more closer to like self help books and more of like asking yourself questions and things like that. But one of the ones that I read was called fuck, I forgot what it's called, but How to Influence and like basically Win Friends. It's an old book, but basically it starts off with how to talk to people properly, how to not how to win over people whenever you're talking to them and things like that. So if you treat every encounter or everything you do in your life, especially like this also came in handy in marketing, but like you're introducing yourself. If you want someone to buy something, you don't just run up to them and say, "Hey, buy this." Whenever you introduce yourself to a girl that you think is attractive, you don't walk up and say, "Hey, marry me." You kind of walk up to her, start a general conversation, let her know who you are, and then she gets to know you as time goes by, just like your friends would as well. So to me, the way I organize the album is exactly that. I hit you with overture, which is the intro, and it's like an in your face, you know, almost like a 1.5 minute showcase of like, hey, I'm here, it's me, hi guys, what's up, I'm Mr. Fuentes. And it's just like, wow, you just like hear it and you're just like, wow, that was like a lot that happened really, really fast. This guy, is obviously a very showy person. And then it like drops into a disclaimer that's almost like, um, it's more of a skit slash, just to kind of give people forewarning of some of the stuff you're going to hear throughout the album, but also a comedy skit. And then you get into the first match, same thing. It's kind of in your face. It's kind of, you know, hits you really fast, really hard, and you're like, wow, this guy's like really cool. And then you get into the fourth track, and you're just like, all right, now he's just being silly, but it's funny, it's fun, I enjoy it, haha. He's a funny guy. Number five, oh, okay, he likes to have like fun. Okay, still funny guy. 6, 7, same stuff, all of it. You just get to know me. It's kind of relaxed, it's chill, it's fun, and then you get into the middle of it, and it starts getting more serious. Starts getting to more to my actual thoughts, who I actually am, what I actually think, and all the way down to track 14, which is Franco's favorite track, which is Lost, and well, at least one of his favorite tracks.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite tracks. My favorite track is actually number 4.
Oh, okay. One of his favorite tracks is Lost, and to me, Lost is the perfect last track because it's like it's the end. It's the most deepest you're gonna get to know a person. That's me. So you get to that track, and I'm spilling my guts basically to you, and letting you know like everything about me, um, that I wouldn't just tell an average person just the first time I met them. You would have to go through all of these steps before you get to that step for the person who's listening to you to really care about what you're actually saying to them. Period. So that's kind of how I like structured this album. And then the very, very last album was more of just an actual outro, just something to kind of uplift the mood, um, and also showcase some of the people I've been working with over the past few years in music, and people that I've met, in this rap game in the past 4 to 5 years. Um, everyone that's on this album are people that I genuinely has had a good connection with, and we've done tracks together. Well, obviously we've done tracks together, but we've done concerts together, and these are all people I really do admire as artists, and they really grind out here, and so I had to put them on my album um, to let everyone hear what they have to give to the world too.
That's a good way to put everything. Let's see what else. So, what does sneak peek mean to you?
To me, I would say it means like a new beginning. You know, as a whole, I kind of when I first came up with the idea for Sneak Peek, um, I kind of had some of these songs already kind of made and some of them already planned out, but I didn't have a title for this album yet, and I just kind of like listened to them and listened to them, and I kind of like started to realize like a lot of them were like examples of myself in certain situations and things like that, and I wear this mask, and that's where the idea for the album cover came up. Is like, the mask is supposed to be the thing that I put on every day before I go to work, before I do anything. It's in society you follow the leader. In society, don't ask questions. You go get a 401k, you be nice, you go to college, you settle down, you make the money, you spend the money. It's all a vicious cycle, and that's all we're taught in school. This is the mask we wear every day when we walk outside. That's what this mask means. And sneak peek was to me was going to be my way of getting part of this, finally getting some of this mask off on my face and being just who I want to be, which is a musician. I want to do this for a living. So the idea Um, to me, this album just means that I get to finally shed off. I'm hoping that I'll get to shed off this part of my mask. Yeah, I'll probably still have to work a second job or something, but hopefully I'll be able to do this full time. To me, when I become a full time artist is whenever I get to change this persona of the person who wore the mask. The mask will probably always be a part of me, but one day I want to take it off and I never want to look back. I don't ever want to see that mask again, at least on my face. I want it to be just me doing this music for the rest of my life. So it's a
That was very
chance for a
beautiful.
new beginning.
That was very beautiful. Uh, you said 9 artists featured. You want to
Yes.
explain like who I guess who they are, what made you want to jump on with them, or how and all that stuff.
Mm, yeah, I mean, I could explain a little. I feel like when we start getting into the songs, I'll probably get more in depth into um, each feature and each person. Um, but the very first one, at least going in order from the album, I can't say, I think honestly, one of the first songs that was recorded on here was Strange Voices. I did with Rob Zilla, was probably one of the first tracks on this album that was recorded. Um, with features at least. Michael White, I didn't get on till see, Rob Zilla was probably like late 2018 or something like that, and I didn't get Michael White onto it until about 2021. So late 2021. That was like in 2018. I was like, my idea for Strange Voices, which I'll probably go a little more into in depth, but I wanted like all three of us 361 artists on there because at the time, like Rob Zilla was getting out there, I was getting out there, Michael White's been out there, so I was like, it'd be really dope to get 361 artists on a song called Strange Voices because if you ever heard Michael White, he's kind of has like a weird rap style and he's kind of a strange fella. So I was like, Strange Voices, that'd be cool. And then Rob Zilla, to me, was also a strange voice in the underground rap game. And then there was me, same thing. I'm a different style than most people expect. So that's kind of where the idea of strange voices and these features came on. I felt like all three of us were strange voices in the rap game right now. And then on top of that, it was another kind of double entendre that we were hearing strange voices, which I didn't expect what Rob did for his verse to be what he did, but it was perfect for the concept. Um, but yeah, then there's that one, and then just going in order, Cryptic. He was a homie on my former label, Funny Farm Records. Um, he was also another artist on there, and I heard him do a track where he did a story rap, and I just like I saw him do it live, and I just knew right then and there when I saw him, like, this is the guy to do this track. And I hit him up, and he was down. And honestly, this is probably one of the ones I'm most excited for y'all to hear because like it turned out
Song's a
really, really,
banger.
it turned out really, really good, and I was super excited that Cryptic to me really put his all into playing this character. Like I would even say even more than I did.
He
Um,
embodied it.
he did embody the character that I gave him for this song, and so it really it sounds like you're watching a D&D game. That's the best I can describe it. um, and then something. I have my homie Ghost, aka Kansas, aka my homie Kenny. Um, he's always been an absolute king artist, and every album that I do, I've always wanted to put make sure I get my homie Kenny on there, aka Ghost. Um, and so Ghost is a proper name for him because he just seems to disappear at random times. So I'm lucky to usually get a hold of him. So when the next time he came to the area and I found him again, I grabbed him and I was like, hey, you're going to record this verse. And I gave him a day to write it. And the next day he came back with his verse and we recorded it.
So
Um,
it's a good thing you took 5 years to put this album out because you had plenty of time.
right, to find him. um, and then Hard Jaws. I fell in love with one of Hard Jaws' album called Mercatora. One of my top five favorite albums, like rap albums ever. Like he is just such a badass, and he's with a homie label that I fuck with, Shrunken Head Entertainment, and I had contacted them and asked them, "Hey, can I get a Hard Jaws?" Which honestly, originally there's an artist called Don Arias. Um, I was gonna get him to do this track, but at the time, everyone on Funny Farm Records had Don Arias as a feature, and I had just listened to this Hard Jaws album. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna do the same feature everyone else is doing. I'm gonna get a different feature, and Hard Jaws is a badass, so I'm gonna get Hard Jaws. Um, I did contemplate on getting them both for this feature, but I didn't have enough money to buy both of their features, so I got Hard Jaws. And then the other one, Peanut, he's been a long time friend of mine. Um, if y'all listen to any of my old shit, he was the third verse on Light It Up on Speedballin'. So, we've been friends for a long time, and my lack of getting stuff out there, we've always talked about doing this group together. We didn't really have a name for it. We just always talked about doing this group together. And whenever I was doing this album, um, we started talking again. We started talking about doing this group, and we decided that we're gonna put out a group finally, and this was gonna be like the sneak peek into that group. Which, if you listen to the entire album, number 13 will be the one that stands out the most as style wise, because the beat's different, the style is kind of different than my normal rapping. It's a little more darker, and that's kind of what I want for that persona for Absolute Lunatics, is to be a more darker artist. So I'm really excited for y'all to check that out whenever we get that done. But my homie Peanut is on there, and yeah, we're gonna put them up. We're gonna put that out, and then the last track. So I feel really bad because I haven't told this guy this yet. So I hope this isn't the way he hears this. Um, so originally I had an idea. I stole the idea from Lil Wayne Carter 4 album. It's a badass album if you haven't heard it. I know a lot of people have their beefs about Lil Wayne, but that Carter 4 was a badass album. And the Carter 4 had this thing that I thought was one of the coolest things I've ever seen happen. And actually, Tech 9 ended up stealing the same idea too. So it wasn't me first. I stole the idea after Tech 9 stole the idea too. So Lil Wayne starts off his first track with a beat, and then the second track, or the middle of there, they have the intermission track. It has Tech 9 and Andre 3000, and they're rapping on the same beat that Lil Wayne did in the very first track. And at the very end, there's the outro, and it's like five different big time artists. It's like Bun B, um, Nas, freaking shit. Who else? I think Jadakiss is on there, and like two other big artists. Um, they're also rapping on the same beat, and at the very end. And so I was like, dude, that's a badass idea. And I had this badass beat. So what I was gonna do is in the beginning have that beat play, and then I sent the track to five other artists to or four other artists to do the same thing with that same beat. Um, Unfortunately, I had to cut the middle one out of the album because it was kind of themed. The first one was my intro. The second one was like a Funny Farm collab, and then the last one was kind of my homies that I really, at the time seemed really close with, or even now they're still like really close. But they were the ones that I wanted at that time to be on here. So that was Raymond and Antidote. Just to give my homies like a shout out kind of at the end. Well, one of the guys, Tim Torment, he he sent a verse, but it was very, very Funny Farm influenced verse. And at this time, if people didn't know, Funny Farm's been disbanded. The owner of Funny Farm disappeared. Ran away with a bunch of people's money. A lot of bad crap, associated with Funny Farm. Well, mostly with Drew Nairo, the Madman himself. Most of the bad things are associated with him. I don't think people really blame anyone on Funny Farm Records for what happened, but obviously it's not something we want to promote because anything tied to Funny Farm Records is really something tied to Drew, tied to Nairo, which is a person that burned a lot of people. So obviously a whole verse talking good about Funny Farm just didn't seem like a good idea to me. So I ended up cutting his verse out of the album, and I haven't got to tell him that yet. So hopefully I'll get to tell him before this this sketch drops, before this podcast drops. But so yeah, I ended up taking that out, and then I moved the other rapper who was on that middle one, Suave Swag. I just moved into the last verse. So instead of 2 artists, I turned it to 3, and then I had my verse at the end. I mean, I think it still turned out good, and my idea still stayed the same, because if you have the album on repeat and the song ends, it's almost like the song just continues again, and it just repeats the whole album all over again. So it's like you don't even really notice that it's the end of the album. It just starts back from the beginning. And that's what one of my main ideas that I had, that was going to be something like cool, that if you had it on repeat, that it would start back from the beginning and be like, whoa, we're back at the beginning, but it doesn't even feel like we're back at the beginning. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all the Rayman, Suave Swag, and Antidote. They're on there because I thought they were dope, and I wanted them to showcase their talent on my album.
If Antidote's listening right now, whenever y'all did that show back in October, I think it was October. The show I went to that y'all did, um, I looked up Antidote, and I was like, yeah, I'll jam it. Or yeah, I think it was that one. I jam his music, look it up, and I listened to him. I was like, yo, not for me. So I stopped listening to him. And then he just recently you sent me the album. He just recently put out his
Sleepless
EP,
Nights.
Sleepless Nights. Yeah, and I have him as a friend, and he was sharing and everything. So I looked it up. I was like, it's a quick 5 EP, and yo, it's really good. If
It
y'all
is.
haven't yet, check them out. Check out this EP. This EP was really good, beginning to end. I enjoyed all 5 tracks. I think my favorite one is the bottles, 99 bottles.
Yeah, my favorite one's the very first track. That one was badass. I think my next one would be Looking Around, then 99 Bottles, Sleep All Day, then Good Looking Out. But no, I was actually listening to it today while I was getting everything finalized for the album, which I need to remember to go back and change that thing. Anyway,
But let's get serious now. Let's get serious for a second.
ooh, we're gonna get serious.
Let me get serious. What is Saul Fuentes Jr.'s least favorite track on here? A track that maybe you just didn't like the way it ended up sounding. You didn't like the way your lyrics sounded. Maybe the way the artist was featured, or like just what was your least favorite track of this album? Great. That was my least favorite too.
Honestly, I don't have a least favorite. I really like all of them. If we're gonna count
That's such
skits,
a boring answer.
if you're gonna count skits, I think number 2 skit, I didn't really want to do 100%. but because I was putting like the emo Sawal name on it, I wanted to make sure that people understood that not everything on here was going to be, you know, very free thinking, or it's going to be ultra free thinking, however you want to think about it. And it can offend some people. So I just wanted to make sure that that kind of disclaimer was there. Um, for that, I'll probably never do that ever again for an album, which is kind of why I threw like the slight like realness slash comedic kind of dark humor in there, just to kind of make me feel a little better. But I didn't really like how that skit completely came out. Um, but I felt like it was necessary, so I left it in there. Um, man, as far as that, I mean, I think probably my least favorite is Opinions. I I like the way my verses came out, but I felt like I never really perfected the hook. And it kind of got to me the more and more I listened to it, and I ended up changing up the hook a little bit in the end. I still don't think it's perfect in my eyes, but hopefully people like it. Um, but overall, like I felt like I could have done something cooler with it, but I kind of didn't give myself enough time in the end, or I just didn't really think about it enough. But everything else, I mean, no, that would probably, like I said, I mean, and it's not even my least favorite, as in, like, pretty much all of them are tens, and that's the only one that's like an 8 out of 10. Like, and the disclaimer, like I said, if we're counting skits, but you know, honestly, I love every track on this album. Like, I don't think anything's less than like a 4 out of 5. You know, I think there's a lot of fives on here, to be honest. Um, I remember when I first like finished this album, like, or when I was in the process of finishing this album, I was listening to all the tracks, and I remember listening from beginning to end, and I was just like, "Damn!" This is before the skits, so all it was songs. I was like, "Damn, that was fucking hard. Damn, that was fucking hard. Damn, that was fucking awesome. Damn, that was awesome too. Damn, that was awesome too." And I was just like, dude, every single track on this album is a hit. Jesus Christ. And yeah, I still feel the same way. I listen to every one of these tracks and I'm like, dude, like, all these tracks hit so much. Like, it's just insane to me that I could listen to this whole thing and not really find one that I would dislike. It might be a little biased because it's probably all more tailored to my taste because I made it. But I mean, shit.
I think that's what artists do. That's create things that they want to listen to, though.
Yeah.
That's what you did.
Yeah. I mean, I love it.
My least favorite isn't a track either. It's probably that skit number 11, Behind the Mask. You featured like a douche nugget in it, and like it's just I didn't like it. Like, this guy's like so fucking big headed, has all these fucking podcasts that he hosts, and people won't like listening to him. You could have cut it. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So
Well, he's a friend, so I kept him in there just
yeah,
to do
I
him a
kind of
favor.
figured. He even has that production company, that emo Sue, well, whatever the fuck bullshit. So stupid.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
Hawaiian.
why? Which one? You only get one. Only one. Which one is your favorite? You can't say all of them. You can't say three. You can't say five. You can't say two. Only one. You got to answer. Which one is your favorite track? I don't want to hear you say this was my favorite because of this. This was my favorite because of this. No. Overall, which one is your favorite? If y'all hear anything in the background, my daughter's watching Bluey. Just so y'all know as well.
This is gonna be kind of lame, but my favorite track on the entire album is "Taking Shots."
You're gonna listen to a song that's already out for everybody to listen to.
It's my favorite track. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm gonna be honest with you, that uh I haven't listened to that. What the fuck? The rhyme scheme in it's pretty dope.
Yeah, no, I like that one. To me, that song to me is like that was my level up song. Like when I made that song, everything about that song was is still like prime, like writing, word schemes, flow, everything is prime Mr. Fuentes. Um, yeah, I love it. It's a great track. I mean, I have a bunch of other great tracks on here too, but that to me is one of my favorites. Um, I really enjoy that one. Now, if I had to pick a second one,
Um, let's see. What question I want to ask you next? So officially, when did you start the album? Because did you put on glasses right now?
what? I've had these
Put
on.
on glasses. Um, okay, you had Smile and Wave, and then you put out Leftover Pizza. But when did you start this album officially? When did you like? I'm making this album, the next album.
Um, Probably like officially was like right after I got signed to Funny Farm, um, which was September 2018, I believe. Um, I got signed in September 2018. I got signed to Funny Farm. Um, I kind of had ideas for this album already, kind of in the works, but I was still working on um, Leftover Pizza. And Leftover Pizza, I had wanted to put out beforehand because I had just actually got signed to Funny Farm, and I kind of wanted just like an album that was an actual album that wasn't like a mixtape that I just put a cover sheet in with the CD in a plastic bag and gave to people. Like I wanted an actual. I thought I had one of my albums next to me for some reason. It's in the other room. Anyway, I wanted something like hard that I could give to someone that looked like an actual album. But I also wanted to put something on Spotify, and that was one of the main things at the time too. Was that all of the music I had were technically not all the beats I could use, so I couldn't put the whole Smile and Wave or Speedball in onto Spotify. Uh, so I wanted to do Leftover Pizza to be able just to put some tracks on the Spotify, especially to get more. To me, that was me getting more serious because I didn't have any tracks on Spotify or anything before then. I didn't have anything, um, so I wanted to put that out there, and then so that's what I told Nairo. I told Nairo, he's like, "You owe me an album. You got like a year to get me an album." And so
It was
I
very
told
lenient with
him,
you.
I told him to give me a year and a half because I was prepping for Leftover Pizza. So I figured, I would get Leftover Pizza done um, in a couple of months after September, and then that. So then I dropped Leftover Pizza in April on Spotify. Um, and then yeah, a lot of shit happened. A lot of shit happened. Um, I I don't know what happened, to be honest. I kind of know what happened. I started actually doing shows for the first time in 2019. I started I opened up for Shaggy Two Dope. That was my very first big artist I opened up for. Um, and then right after that, I opened up for Twisted. I opened up for A and B, and then I think I opened up for Tech Nine like right after that one. And then it was just then after that was Ritz, Whitney Payton, Dizzy Wright, um, and then after that was well, it was supposed to be King ISO, but he ended up having to leave. But yeah, that whole year was nothing but me doing the thing, man, getting out there and doing shit. And then 2020 happened, and everything got locked down. Um, which at that time I was like, dude, because I worked at Starbucks at the time, and Starbucks was like, yo, we're gonna pay you to stay home for like 3 weeks to a month. And I was like, if you want. I was like, psh, peace. So I took a month off. I took a whole month off of work and got paid. And at that time, I was like, dude, I have to finish the album. There's no way I'm not gonna finish the album. And somehow I didn't. Um, you know, I think the more I think about it, sometimes things just happen for a reason. So I'm not gonna beat myself up too much about it. I think shit happens. You know, I don't want to get too much into my personal life, but I had a relationship, and that kind of faltered by the end of 2020 as well. So enter 2021, me trying to figure out what's going on with my life, and
And I came back.
then Franco was in Louisiana, came back from Louisiana. Uh, Everyone lived whole lives while I was trying to get this album done, and it just got piece to piece, piece by piece. Um, so here's the official artwork for it. I just thought this would be something funny to share. So I go work outside one day, and I'm wearing a hat, and for some reason I thought it'd be great to throw the hat right on top of the artwork that's sitting right next to my computer before I scanned it. So when I come back like a day later to actually scan it, the freaking sweat stains from my hat got onto the side of the freaking thing right there. So it has permanent damage from me throwing my hat onto it. And so anyway, it's not a perfect piece of artwork anymore, but it's still a badass piece. Um, yeah, I don't know. I really don't have much excuses except I got into my head a lot. I kept telling myself, if it's already been this long, I might as well keep polishing the album, keep polishing the album, keep polishing the album, make it the best album it's ever going to be. And I got stuck in this loop of it needs to be perfect because it kind of like I was thinking, you know, it's been this long, and then I put out something that sounds like crap. It's going to make me feel even worse. So I kind of got stuck in my head a lot that I was like, well, you know, I might as well wait till it's perfect, basically. And if you're an artist and you're listening to this, there's no such thing as perfect. It's just never going to come. You're just going to keep polishing a turd, keep polishing and polishing. And I mean, a turd's a bad example, but in the end, a turd's still a turd, even if you polish it. So you either got something good or you don't. You know, that's pretty much the basis of it. Um, and I had something good. I had a lot of things going on in my personal life, and um, this album ended up becoming not just a thing. It became a person, but in the wrong way. It became a person that, like, if I finish it, then I have to let it go, and if I let it go, then it's gone forever, and parts of me are going to leave with it. And I started getting into this weird mental state that, like, if I finish this album, then other things in my life that I should probably let go need to be let go. And I wasn't ready to let go. So I kept pushing and pushing and pushing the album because it reminded me of the past. And it's just time to let go of the past and move forward. It's time to let go of everything. It's time to be a different new person that I haven't been before. And this is the start of it. So it took long because life sucks, bro. That's why it took so long. And I had to pick up all the pieces and put them all together before I can put out this album. And they're not all together, and they never will be. If you ever think you're going to be perfect, you're not. But you can be better, and I'm better. And it's time to put this out. It's time for y'all to hear what I have, and it's time to give out some new stuff with the new experiences I've had in my life over the past 3 to 5 years. Um, and I'm ready to show y'all that, and I'm ready to be more vulnerable to my audience. That was a whole another thing. Is it's hard for artists sometimes to be vulnerable with their audiences, and I think I was in that stage where I didn't want to be my true authentic self some of the time, and now I'm ready to be my true authentic self. So I'm here, I'm ready to do this.
So when you started, you were you were signed to a label, to Funny Farm Records,
Mm-hmm.
and you're about to complete it. You are no longer signed to Funny Farm Records. You talked about it how you wanted the album in a year, year and a half. Do you think it was a blessing in disguise that you didn't put it out in a year and a half, or do you regret it?
Mm, well, I try not to have any regrets at this point. I mean, the past is the past. Can't change it. Um, I think if I put it out, it wouldn't have really. It would have been good because if I would have put it out, I would have been at this point probably putting out another new project with with more new music. Um, so yes, to me, you should just be putting out music. Period. Don't be holding on to your music. Just put out your music because the more you hold on to your music, the more you don't make newer music. You just keep listening to your old shit, trying to perfect it and make it sound better whenever you need to just move on and go to the next thing because the next thing's probably going to be what's going to make you hot. It's going to be the next song that people are going to enjoy. And it's going to be the next song that you probably need as an artist. Some of these songs that I made on this track, I needed them. You know, um, it's not my favorite song per se, but Lost is a very personal song, and it was a lot about this album too. The whole me not feeling sure about like what people were gonna think whenever they hear it. After I got signed to the label, whenever I got signed to Funny Farm, everyone was treating me like I was this like god, not really god, but I couldn't think of a better word. But everyone was treating me like I was some kind of badass. They all heard my raps, they all heard everything, and everyone was just like, dude, like, where have you been hiding for all these years? Like, you're really good. And like everyone was hyping me up so much that like I got like kind of scared that I was gonna drop this album and people were gonna be like, oh, I thought it was gonna be good, but it wasn't as good as I thought. So I started getting in my head a lot. And I should have never let that happen for one, but because I am a badass. So I mean, it doesn't matter. Um, but yeah, I mean, I was signed to Funny Farm, and then uh, as I've kind of hinted on other shows and other things, um, and earlier, Nairo, the owner of Funny Farm, kind of disappeared and took a lot of people's money, and no one's heard of him for at this time right now will be a year and 2 months about, and he's alive. People have seen him, pictures of him. People have seen him in stores randomly and things like that. But um, he's not publicly showing himself for his own personal reasons. I have no idea. We have ideas, but I have no idea. Um, and
We have ideas, but I don't.
I don't. I mean, I don't. He didn't steal money from me. um, but yeah, no. I mean, it was it was nice being on Funny Farm. I got to do a lot of cool shit. Um, you know, it's shitty what Nairo did, but he actually helped me out a lot and reaching out to a new fan base that I never would have if he didn't put me on to Funny Farm. I wouldn't have met a lot of these great artists that I know now, a lot of them that are on this album, if I didn't meet Nairo and he didn't sign me to Funny Farm. Um, my year and a half with Funny Farm was great. It was it really helped me out in my career, and it taught me a lot. One that that I was talented, because at some point I didn't think I was. I thought I was just mediocre, and that's why no one really jammed my shit. And two that and two that you can't depend on one person for your success. And I was depending a lot on Nairo for booking my shows and doing a lot of the things that he did. And now I'm having to do that on my own, which is what I should have done to begin with. Um, but I learned a lot from him. Um, so sorry, guys, that he burned y'all. For me, it was a blessing, to be honest. And
Let's
I'm just gonna move on from there.
let's say you never met Nairo. Where do you think your career would have been had you never met him? You never got signed to Funny Farm Records.
I probably would have
Yeah.
gave up on music already, to be honest. I've told this story like multiple times. I'm not gonna tell it again, but I made a deal with myself if something didn't happen at that concert that I went to Nairo's, um, that I was gonna quit rap, and I was ready to quit rap because that show had 8 people in there whenever I went to perform, and the deal was is that I was gonna like be a badass at this show, and I was gonna I was gonna make it, and so Nairo signing me to Funny Farm ended up being like a blessing, because if I already had made the promise to myself, if he didn't tell me that he wanted to sign me to his label that day, I would have went home and I would have gave up on music. That was already the deal. I wouldn't be doing music right now if he didn't sign me to Funny Farm.
That's sad.
I know.
Before we end it out, I skipped over this one, but how'd you choose your beats for this track, for this album?
Mm, so there were a few tracks that I did want to put on this album, um, but I'm gonna save them all for a different album. But I had made like 3 or 4 tracks that I thought about putting on Sneak Peek, that were more love interest related. The reason I didn't put it on this album was mainly because I couldn't find a place for them. Like anytime I put them in the order with all the tracks I already had, it just kind of felt like it changed the whole mood of the album. Um, so when I picked out this album, I kind of wanted it to be exactly what I said it was. It's a sneak peek. Um, so those songs about love interests and stuff like that, those to me were a little more personal. Um, More personal than at that time I wanted to reveal. So most of these tracks I made sure to pick them to be more fun, and if I was going to make a statement, it was going to be more of my aggressive statements and not my more romantic, depressed feeling statements, if that makes any sense. Um, I do have the song Lost on here, but that's probably the only track on this entire album that's really, um, feeling wise, I would say more personal. Um, so when I picked the beats, I kind of just picked stuff that I thought was going to be more fun, more yeah, that's pretty much it. Things I could have fun with, things that I could rap with that were going to be fun. It's pretty much my idea, um, for all the beats that I picked on this album.
And with that, what's next? I believe this.
Oh shit! I
Your
saw the
experience.
kid. I saw your kid run across from your side, and I was like, "Is there a kid behind me?"
Um, Sneak peek. I've been waiting to listen to it. I finally listened to it. You sent it to me and everything. Going from I not following from the beginning, but at least following since 2015, I think is when I heard you. Listen to your albums and everything. Listen to all your albums and listen to this one. I think you're entering into a new era of Mr. Fuentes. So with that, like, what do you think's next? What are you gonna do next?
Um, well, my one of my New Year's resolutions is working close with Emo Sawal Productions and myself to put out more content and more music for y'all to listen to, for people that are Mr. Fuentes fans, to hear more of me. Um, you know, I already have. In that time, I was working on this album. I was kind of working on a side album, um, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna release it next. I didn't want to because this one's more of a kind of like a heartbreak album. It's all about heartbreak and sadness and things like that. And I wanted to release it around February, but this one's gonna release around February, so um, I don't think.
Ooh, you have a release date?
I'm thinking it's gonna be in February. I I want to say it's gonna be the 10th, but it could be the 17th. Um, but you'll hear the official release date probably before this drops. Um, I don't want to jump the gun just yet, but 10th or the 17th, and but I think I'm gonna go ahead and just finish this next album up and probably release it in beginning of the end of May, beginning of June is my timeline in my head for the next
My birthday is June 4th. If you want to release them then?
for the
It's a
next
Sunday though.
album that I want to do, which is called Cardiac Depressed. Um, it's going to be an EP. I'm not 100% sure how many tracks just yet, but I already have some songs already made out for this for this album. So I'm hoping this one's going to come quicker than Sneak Peek uh, this year.
You
And
waited
then I,
waited 5 years, 5 years in between your albums to drop this one. Now it's gonna be a few months.
yeah, right. Well, we're gonna hit it hard. 2023, man. We're gonna do this shit, man. Um, also, I'm planning on dropping sometime this year. Absolute Lunatics. The plan is to
What?
what what
What'd you say?
to
You're gonna what?
drop Absolute Lunatics this year.
We're getting 3 projects from you in 1 year.
Yeah.
Three, not one, not two, three.
Oh, don't forget about the one with Rob Zilla. Oh wait, y'all don't know about that one yet.
We're getting four in 1 year. Are you sure that's not too much for you?
Oh yeah, and then there's one at the end of the year.
Maybe instead of like focusing on 15 tracks in one album, you should have been focusing on 3 tracks here, 3 tracks there, 3 tracks here, 2 tracks there.
That's pretty much my idea. We're gonna hit this year with a bunch of EPs, um, and I'll
I
probably be
think EPs are
working.
better.
I think I'm gonna hit. I'm gonna hit. This is the plan. We'll revisit this in a year and see what happens. But the plan is to drop 2 EPs, one holiday EP, one group project for Absolute Lunatics, and possibly another collab project with another artist, which will also be an EP. So that's my plan for the year. Um, to have five different Mr. Fuentes projects all
You're
this year.
you're starting to sound like Connor Price.
Oh yeah, we can't forget the skits and everything that me and Emo Sawal Productions are gonna do together.
We're trying to get some projects out, trying to get some stuff because they get this brand rolling with all these 215 plus K subscribers.
I know. What's up, guys? Thank y'all for subscribing. um, but yeah, no, I mean that's pretty much what I have planned for the year. It's a little ambitious, but I think it's possible. So I'm gonna work at it, and um, we're gonna have some projects for y'all to listen to. That's minimum. I mean, there could be even more than that, but that's minimum.
Don't forget about the Far From Alone featuring Mr. Fuentes project coming out.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely.
um, if that's it, if you have anything else you want to say or plug or talk about,
Um, so by this time, I would have already released the pre-order packages that I'm gonna have. I haven't officially put them all together yet, but there's gonna be obviously a CD pre-order. There'll be a CD and shirt pre-order, CD, shirt, hat, beanie pre-order, um, and then I want to do like one big mega pack, and this is my thought. So if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, don't sue me for saying this. But I want to do a big O pack. That's going to be a CD, a shirt, a beanie or hat, um, Mr. Fuentes pins, Mr. Fuentes coasters, and your own specialized Mr. Fuentes mask, where I'm going to change one or two of the words on here for whichever word y'all want to be what y'all want to represent yourselves on your own mask, for the pre-order. It's going to be a little pricey, but it's going to be there if you want it.
I think about the last big one you did, the pre-order. So can I like pay an extra, I guess, charge for the mask?
Yeah, sure. We'll talk about it later, man.
I guess with all that,
Oh well, what I meant to say is if you haven't seen the pre-order and we're already talking about and you're already watching this now, go to my Facebook. I'm sure I'm going to have it pinned to the top at Mr. Fuentes 361. Also Instagram, Mr. Fuentes 361. I'm probably going to also put it on my TikTok and pin it on the top, Mr. Fuentes 361. Um, so yeah, just check it out. I appreciate anything that y'all can do. Um, I appreciate if any of y'all pre-order um, the music or the CD album, even if it's just the album itself. Um, I appreciate any support to keep me doing what I'm doing and hopefully get me to the future that I want, which is just to make music for y'all. That's what I want for my future. So help me out, and pre-order something.
make sure to follow us TikTok because there's gonna be a lot of content dropping soon. A lot. And with that, thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for watching, or I think watching only. I'll put it up on audio. But follow me wherever you want to follow me at Wrestling Tacos on Instagram, at Emos Wild Productions. If you made it this far and you're not subscribed, hit the fucking subscribe button. Just hit it. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next time. Peace, love,
Peace.
tacos.